If you have been wondering where the smart money is moving in Kansas City, this is the video for you. We are breaking down the top 10 places to live in Kansas City, and we are going just by the hard data and statistics. We are going to look at which areas have had the biggest price jump in 2025 in Kansas City. The number 10 area is Riverside, Missouri. Riverside is a mainstay in our best areas list because it's number one, served by a top school district, the Park Hill School District. It's one of the areas where you can easily access downtown Kansas City. You're only 5 to 10 minutes away, no matter where you are in Riverside, to get to downtown. In fact, if you're looking to live close to downtown, but also be in an excellent school district, really going to be hard to beat someplace like Riverside or North Kansas City. Given its location, one of the things to know about living in Kansas City proper is that the infrastructure is not always the best. The response time for police, the snowplows, all of those things, those city provided amenities are not always the best in Kansas City, Missouri, but in Riverside, you are going to get top quality infrastructure. I'll tell you a quick story. Last winter, when I was showing houses in Kansas City, Missouri, the roads were not plowed. It was really hard to get around. Once we got into Riverside, though, and we were looking at houses in Riverside, it was just a completely different city. The snowplows were running. It was really, really easy to access the different areas of the city because of that. One of the houses that we showed was vacant and there was an alarm system, and the listing agent did not provide the code, so we unfortunately ended up tripping the alarm. Now, the police were there in record time. It was literally maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and the police in Riverside showed up. They were very nice. They asked who I was, looked at my identification, saw that we had no issues being there. We weren't robbing the house or anything, but they were there and gone really quickly. And that's way different than living in Kansas City, Missouri, where we've called 911 before and we've been put on hold multiple times. Given its proximity to the river, it is called Riverside after all. One thing that I would really think about before moving there is checking the floodplains, because if you're going to buy a house there, there could be a chance that it's located in a floodplain. But let's get to the numbers. Last year, the average house in Riverside was $667,000. This year, it has jumped to $720,000. That's a 7.91% increase year over year, and the median jumped from 645 to 770, which is a 20% increase. If you want a house in Riverside, you're gonna have to work pretty fast because houses only stay on the market on average 20 days. So you're gonna have to give us a call. 816-4-MOVE-KC is our number if you're wanting to buy in Riverside or any other of these places that are on this list. 816-4-MOVE-KC. You might be wondering how we got the numbers for this list. Well, it's actually very simple. We took quarter 3 of 2025, that's the months of July, August, and September, and we compared them to the same months in 2024. We looked at average price point, we looked at median price point, we looked at days on market, and we saw whether these increased or decreased. We also have a corresponding list of the worst areas to buy in Kansas City because there are definitely areas that have lost a lot of value in just a year. The number 9 area is Lawson, Missouri. So we're moving smack dab in the middle of the Kansas City metro up to the rural areas of the metro. We're going up north and we're going northeast to Lawson, Missouri. This area is much more rural and suburban compared to Riverside's riverfront suburban nature. To get to downtown, you're going to have to be driving 30, sometimes even 45 minutes. Lawson is a city located in the northeastern quadrant of the Kansas City metro, spanning 2 counties, Ray County and Clay County. Again, you're going to have to drive a little bit, but there's only about 2,500 people living in Lawson proper. So if you want peace, if you want quiet, if you want some acreage, if you want some land, that's going to be a lot easier to find in Lawson. While Riverside is going to be a lot of newer homes and a lot of homes built in the, I would say, 70s to 80s at the oldest, Lawson is going to be much older, but there's still a good mix. If you want new construction, you can get new construction near the Lawson area. If you want a resale home, you can definitely find that as well. So let's get to the numbers. The average price of a home in Lawson last year was $361,000, and that climbed 10% to $397,000. That's a healthy increase given that the national real estate market on average only increases 5% year over year. So Lawson is doing double that. So you got to think when somebody says the housing market is crashing or things aren't going well in the market, That may be for the market nationally, but when you look at very specific pockets of areas, specifically the Kansas City Metro, and specifically pockets even in those areas in the Kansas City Metro, you have areas that are performing very well, like Lawson. Lawson's median price point increased from $327,000 all the way up to $390,000. Combine those numbers, that's a 14.6% increase total year over year. Homes in Lawson are moving blazingly fast with an average of only 8 days on the market. So if you want one, you're gonna have to snatch it up very, very quickly. Staying in another rural area and now moving over to the Kansas side, we are now in Stillwell, Kansas. Known for large lots, acreage, beautiful properties, luxury estates, and custom homes, Stillwell is ideal for someone who's looking for homes with a lot of space. If you want space, if you want acreage, and you want to be in the most desirable county, which is Johnson County, Kansas, then you are going to want to look into Stillwell, Kansas. About 5,000 people live in the area, but you are very, very close to places like Overland Park, Leawood, Prairie Village, and only about 15 to 20 minutes away from downtown Kansas City if you want to jet into downtown for all of your entertainment needs. To get to the numbers, the average price of a home in Stillwell grew from $742,000 all the way up to $911,000 just in a year. The median price point jumped from $575,000 to $615,000, which is a 7% jump year over year. You combine those two, it's a 14.8% jump year over year. So if you want to live in an area in Johnson County still, but you want some more space, you want some more acreage, Stillwell is going to be the place for you. For the number 7 area, we're gonna stay in Johnson County, Kansas, and we're gonna talk about Leawood, Kansas. Leawood is a suburban city in Johnson County, Kansas, part of the Kansas City metro area. It's only about 10 miles southwest of downtown Kansas City, so you can get easily into downtown. It's bordered by other well-established suburbs like Overland Park, Kansas City, Kansas, Prairie Village, those types of areas, and it is among the highest income and highest home value suburbs in the Kansas City metro. It's great for somebody who's looking for luxury, who wants a high quality of life and strong schools. It's very, very close to the metro, like I already mentioned before. There's a high rate of home ownership, and there's well-established infrastructure in Johnson County, but the cost of entry is very, very high, as you will see when we get to the numbers. It is way less rural, so if you're looking for a large lot, you're probably not going to find it in Leawood, Kansas, although we have seen pretty large lots, like around an acre in Leawood before. But because it is very upscale, a lot of people who are moving into Leawood are moving out from outside the Kansas City metro in. So we have clients from California looking in Leawood. We have clients from New York. Very, very high cost of living areas where they are either selling the home and they are looking to relocate to the best area of the Kansas City metro. So now to the numbers. The average home in Leawood jumped from $780,000 from last year to $948,000 this year. That is a 21% jump just in average price. The median also jumped from $660,000 to $725,000. So if you want to get into Leawood, you're gonna have to pay a pretty hefty price. Overall, year over year, 15% jump from 2024 to 2025 in Leawood, and houses are still moving relatively fast, only 6 days on the market as of the latest statistics. So Leawood is not only moving fast, homes are priced high, and if you want one, you're gonna have to pay, but you're gonna get all the amenities of living in Leawood. Moving back over to the Missouri side and moving to the same northeast corner of the Kansas City metro where we were prior in Lawson, we are going to talk about Holt, Missouri. Holt is another small city in Missouri located on the edge of Clay County. It's a very, very tiny area. I would say even smaller than Lawson. But because of the small size and rural-ish context, the housing tends to be a lot more modest. A lot of large lots. In fact, my last client to buy a home in Holt bought a home on 3 acres in Holt. So it offers a very, small town, low density environment, which will appeal to you if you want the peace and quiet of that. But the trade-off is that you're going to have a 30 to 45 minute commute time if you do want to venture into downtown Kansas City. Small population, very, very small tax base, very few amenities located in Holt proper. So if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for even grocery shopping, can be a little bit difficult if you're living in a place like this. But the home prices don't lie, because the average price climbed from $423,000 all the way up to $468,000 in Holt. The median climbed from 345 all the way up to 422. Combined, that's a 16.47% increase in the market year over year. Now, what's interesting though is that homes in Holt are sitting on the market a little bit longer, 61 days on average. So you do have a little bit of time to make that decision if you want to buy a home in Holt. Now, staying up north in the Kansas City metro, but moving back over to the Kansas side, this is Leavenworth, Kansas at our number 5 area. It sits roughly 25 to 30 minutes north of downtown Kansas City and really depends on traffic. But Leavenworth, unlike Holt and unlike Lawson, is a whole city and infrastructure in and of itself. There's Fort Leavenworth up there where there are a lot of active duty military stationed. There is Leavenworth Penitentiary that employs a lot of the Leavenworth population. It's a really good balance. It's closer to the metro. It's a moderate price point, as we were going to see when we talk to the numbers. It's more established in terms of infrastructure, so you don't have to leave Leavenworth to get groceries. There's a lot more amenities than the very, very rural areas. And commute times are relatively modest if you want to get into Kansas City, but it may not offer the premium luxury top tier feels like Leawood or the rural retreats like a Holt or a Lawson. But because it's right in the middle of the market, you do have a little bit of everything and a lot of homes available on the market. So if you want land, you could probably find land. If you want to be in a suburb, you can probably be in a suburb. If you want an older home, I've seen 120, 130-year-old homes in Leavenworth before. The average price point of a home in Leavenworth jumped from $250,000 to $287,000. That's a 14% increase. The median jumped from $225,000 to $268,000, which is an 18% increase. Combine that, you have a 16.8% increase for homes in Leavenworth year over year. It is moving relatively fast with an average of 17 days on the market for a home in Leavenworth. So if you do want something, you're going to have to go there pretty fast, 15 days, and that home is pretty much gone. So again, give us a call, 816-4MOVE-KC if you're thinking about moving here from out of state. We have people calling all the time. If you're looking to move, within the Kansas City metro, we can help you do that too, 816-4MOVE-KC. What I like about this list is it's relatively balanced. We're going from Kansas to Missouri, and now we're back from Kansas in Missouri now, and we're talking about Greenwood, Missouri. It is a city in Jackson County, and a part of it is actually in Cass County and is located right near Lee's Summit. Unlike Lee's Summit though, it does offer a good blend of suburban and rural feel with relatively new housing stock depending on where you're looking. You can find an existing home in Greenwood, but you can also certainly build something from nothing in Greenwood too. It's not as prestigious as Lee's Summit, but there's strong economic profile in Greenwood. There's high home ownership and very stable neighborhoods. There's pretty moderate commute times across the Kansas City metro. If you're wanting to go downtown, it's going to take you about 30 minutes. Pretty good value for the money compared to high-end suburbs like a Lee Summit, but there are some trade-offs. Because it's a smaller suburb, you may not get the most premium things that you could get in other areas. But let's get to the numbers. The average home price climbed from $413,000 all the way up to $508,000 just in 1 year. The median price point climbed from $332,000 to $368,000, which is a 17% total increase. Homes are sitting on the market for 20 days, so you do have some time to make a decision for your home in Greenwood. One similarity that I'm seeing with a lot of areas on this list is that they are in more rural areas that are at least 20 to 30 minutes outside of downtown Kansas City. I think a lot of people are moving out there, and this is more evidence. The number 3 area on this list is Platte City, Missouri. Now, this is going completely diagonal across the metro, closer to Leavenworth from Greenwood, but in Platte City, they are experiencing a huge growth of housing demand compared to many years ago, but they're still relatively affordable to live in Platte City. In Platte City, you're going to have that small town, suburban feel. It's a quieter lifestyle, kind of like a lot of these areas. It's definitely not going to be like a Leawood or anything like that where the hubbub is happening. You're going to be 20 to 25 minutes out from Kansas City, Missouri's downtown, but you're going to be very, very close to the airport. The last person I helped move to Platte City was looking to live near their job in the Kansas City International Airport, and that is why they moved there. There are a lot of subdivisions being developed, but One thing that I will say about Platte City is if you want big plots of land in Platte City, they are becoming a rarity because a lot of them are being held for a long time by a lot of different people, and they hardly come up for sale because people love Platte City. And the numbers do show it. Last year, the average home in Platte City was $378,000. This year, it's climbed all the way to $489,000. That's a 29% increase. Last year, the median price was $374,000, and it jumped almost $100,000 to $452,000, which is a 20% increase. That's a very big year-over-year increase, and the average days on market have gone down from 13 days to 7 days compared to last year. So on average, if a home hits the market, you only have a week to go ahead and put a winning offer on that home, which isn't surprising because Platte City is a very desirable city. The number 2 city is moving back to the Kansas side again, Bonner Springs, Kansas. It is the only city I know in the Kansas City metro that is located in 3 separate counties. It's located in Wyandotte County, Leavenworth County, and Johnson County. Bonner Springs is sought after because there is good value compared to these ultra luxury suburbs that we've talked about, like a Leawood. I would say it's even better value than a Platte City because you're going to be kind of out there, but you're going to be close enough to the Legends outlets to do your shopping there. It's a fairly short commute if you wanted to go from Bonner Springs all the way down to downtown Kansas City, but the neighborhoods are also very, very varied. So you could get something that's much newer, and you could get something that's actually pretty old if that's your style in Bonner Springs. Let's get to the numbers. The numbers indicate a 30% year-over-year growth in average price in Bonner Springs from $304,000 to $398,000. That's pretty much a $100,000 increase for average price point. For median price point, that tells pretty much the same story. $266,000 grew all the way to $325,000. That's a 33.5% increase, giving it a combined 32.19% increase year over year in Bonner Springs. And homes are still flying off the market on average of 4 days to get a home under contract in Bonner Springs. Now, before we get to our number 1 area, I have 3 honorable mentions that I want to talk you through. In Basehor, Kansas, Basehor just missed this list. The average market in Basehor grew by 13% year over year. In Grandview, the housing market grew by 12.86%, and in Kearney, Missouri, the housing market grew by 11.72%. Again, one of these things is that Basehor is also located on the outskirts of the metro, so is Kearney, and Grandview is one of the most affordable areas in all of Kansas City. So a lot of these areas that are beginning to grow and experiencing growth are going to be on the outskirts. That indicates a few things, that Kansas City is spreading out. It's becoming more developed out on the outskirts, but it's also that people are moving from the inner, a lot more of the urban areas out to land. In fact, I have 2 or 3 clients that are doing that exact same thing right now. They're moving from downtown out to the outskirts, places like Kearney, Holt. These are all areas that they're targeting. The number 1 area, though, that a lot of people are targeting is DeSoto, Kansas. All of these things that make areas on this list desirable, DeSoto has almost all of them. You have the prestigiousness of Johnson County. You have the ruralness of a lot of these areas on this list where people want to live near acreage or on acreage. But also boosting DeSoto is the Panasonic power plant, where they are producing a ton of batteries. The Panasonic power plant is going to bring a ton of growth to the DeSoto area. We have 3 clients that are actively looking in DeSoto right now because they are being employed by the Panasonic power plant. It's likely to increase job access. It's likely to increase property values. It's going to be great for the DeSoto area. You already have excellent schools out there. It's going to be a safe small town feel. It is an area, though, that is rising in home prices, as you're going to see. Last year in DeSoto, the average price of a home was $370,000. It jumped 33% to $495,000. That's a huge jump, over $100,000. The median price point jumped from $299,000 to $398,000, another 30% increase, which makes this our number 1 area of this list at a 33.51% jump year over year in the Kansas City metro. And not only that, homes are now going on average 10 days on the market. That's down from the 20 days on the market during the same time period last year. So if you're looking for a home in DeSoto, you're going to want to give us a call really quickly. And if you want to tour DeSoto, click right here.